So we're going to look at the next section. The next section is talking about distributing and factoring. So we're going to get to section 2 here. First we're going to multiply a monomial and a trinomial. So when we do that, it's basically area, right? Because we're multiplying two things. So we can think about length times width, so we could do an area model. So I have a 1 by 3, and I'm finding the area of each of these boxes. So length times width, so negative times 9, that's a negative 9, and x cubed times x to the 4th is x to the 7th. Or you can think about, I have 4 x's here and 3 x's here, it's a total of 7 x's. Negative 2 times a negative, that's a positive 2, and x cubed is x to the 6th, and then a 7 times a negative is a negative 7, and all I have is x cubed, so there it is. So you can write it in standard form, negative 9x to the 7th plus 2x to the 6th minus 7x cubed. That is my product right there. Okay, as we look at the other ones, you go ahead and practice this one. You can pause the video and try it, and then follow along if you get stuck. Okay, so we have a 1. You can think about this as your width and your length. So here's my width, 5n, here's my length, or you can think about it the other way. This is my length, 5n, this is my width. So 3n cubed minus n squared plus 8. So I have a 3 by 1. 3 times 5 is 15. N cubed and n is n to the 4th. Negative times a positive is a negative 5. And then n times n squared is n cubed. And then 8 times 5 is 40. And then I have that n, so it has to go in there. So this is my final product. Okay, so we're working with the distributive property, multiplying a monomial by a polynomial. We're eventually going to factor. Factoring is just the reverse of distributing, so that's dividing. So we're going to divide out by the GCF, the greatest common factor. So when you do that, just keep on going until you get everything out. So we look at these three. This is kind of like our area. So we're already given our area instead of given our length and our width. And finding the area, now we're given the area is 5x cubed plus 25x squared plus 45x. And now we're going to factor out the monomial. We're going to find our two sides. So we look at all three of the numbers and see what's the same. That's 5. So we're going to divide out by 5. That's going to be our length there is 5. And then our width is going to be the answer to that. So that's 1, 5, and 9. Now we look at our variables. So x to the 3rd, x to the 2nd, and x. So I can take out an x out of all of them. So I'm dividing by x, so I take out an x. So my width, or my length is 5x, and my width is the remainder. So I'm taking out an x. That means I'm left with an x squared, an x here, and it's a positive, right? So I probably should put a positive there. And this is a positive. And then I take out an x here, so I have no x's. So then my GCF is the 5x, but if I want to write it in factored form, which I do want you to do that later on, so might as well start now. So we have our length, our GCF, times by our width. So that is factored form, and that's what I want you to do. Go ahead and try this one. You can pause the video and then go at it, and when you get lost, come back and watch the video. So we have our area already, and we want to find the length and the width. We do find the length by looking at all the numbers and see what's common, and then we take out that amount. So we're taking out a 3. Our length is being what's left, 1, negative 3, negative 4, and now we look at our x's, and how many x's can I take out? I can take out 1x. So I pull out 1x, that means I get left with 3, 1, and nothing. So I don't write 0. I don't want to write 0 because that would look like negative 40. I just don't want to write any x's. So here is our GCF, but I want you to write it in factored form. It's always your GCF times by what you get out. So your length and your width here. Okay, go ahead and try this one on your own. See if you can do this one. Okay, so you can try this one by yourself. If not, if you get stuck, come back. Okay, so you're given your area, the 4x to the 5th minus 24x cubed plus 8x. So here, look for what's similar in all of these. 4, so you can pull out a 4, I get left with 1, negative 6, positive 2. Then I can also take out an x. So I pull out an x, I get x to the 4th, I get x squared, and no x's. So then write it in factored form, 4x times x to the 4th minus 6x squared. If you want to leave that 1 in front of the x to the 4th, that's fine. So that is factored form, because I have my factors. All right, factors of 12 is 6 and 2, because 6 times 2, I'm writing 12 as a factor, 6 times 2. So this would be 4x times this. So there is that in factored form. Okay, go ahead and try this one on your own. Pause the video and then come back to it. So 9x to the 6th plus 15x to the 4th plus 12x squared. We can look at the numbers. We can take out a 3 out of all of them. So I pull out a 3, I get left with 3, 5, positive 5, so put plus 5 and a positive 4. Now I can look at the x's. I can take out, say, 1x. I can actually take out more, right? But say I don't. Then I write my factored form. And then I always want to check, just in case, because I want to take out the greatest common factor, right? So if I look at all these, I can still take out another x. So if I took out another x, it would be x squared on the outside, and then 3x to the 4th plus 5x squared plus 4. Okay, so now we have some word problems. Now we have some word problems that we're going to take care of. So with these word problems, we're just reading through and then trying to figure out what are they trying to talk about here. So we are asked, the question is, what is the area of the shaded region? So that would be the area in red, right? And the area red, isn't that surrounded by this box, this square, 2x by 2x square, and then inside is a circle, right? And we're trying to find the shaded area. Area is the key word here. So if we're trying to find area, well, area of a square is length times width. And since it's a square, both sides are the same, right? So area for the square would be 2x times 2x. Isn't that 4x squared? And then the circle, area for a circle is pi r squared. And the radius is x. So this area would be pi x squared. And now we're trying to find the area in between, right? So the big area would be our square, and the area that I'm going to take out, right? So the area of the square would be the whole thing. This whole thing would be filled in with red, right? If I was finding the area of the square. But then I'm deleting this circle, the area of the circle, to leave me with the area in between. So to find the area in between, wouldn't I just subtract these two? Area in between would be the area of the outside minus the in area of the inside. So the area of the outside is 4x squared, and I'm going to subtract the area of the inside, which is pi x squared. So here, even though they both have x squareds, the pi, right, represents 3.14, so I don't want to subtract that from 4. So look at these. What can I factor out? Same thing as before. I have my area, right? I have my area, 4x squared minus pi x squared. What's the same in both of these? An x squared. So I can take out an x squared. What's left? A 4 and a minus pi. So write it in factored form. So there's your answer. There's the area of the red. Okay, this one is the same type of problem. Same exact problem. Just looks a little different. We just have a different side for our square here and a different side for our radius. So go ahead and pause the video, go ahead and do it. So the area of the outside would be our length times width. And then I'm going to minus the area of my inside, which is pi r squared. My r is 3x. This time my r is 3x, so I'm taking 3x times 3x. That's a 9x squared times pi. And then 6x times 6x is 36x squared. Again, I can't combine these just because the pi's there. Alright, I want to leave pi in terms of the symbol there. And then look at both of these. What can you factor out? Well, I can take out an x squared. What's left? Well, that is 36 minus pi times 9. Well, now we'll look again. Can I take anything more out? I can take out 9. So 9x squared. I get left with a 4 minus pi. So there's my area. Okay, so that's it for this lesson. You can watch as many times as you want, come back with questions, work on your homework, and that's it for today.